All right, welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Christmas is right upon us, folks. If you're making gift buying decisions at the moment, then you need to get to Games and Things. Whether it's a big splashy, you want to get somebody table tennis, you want to get somebody one of those shuffle boards, you want to get somebody a stand-up arcade game, a jukebox, bar stools, you name it. They got the big stuff. They've also got the small stuff. You got somebody that plays pool, get them a new pool cue. You got somebody that's a dart king, get them a dart board or just a new set of top-of-the-line darts. You got a card player, get a new card set. Games and Things. Get down there when you're doing your holiday shopping, the corner of Kingston Pike and Level Road, because life should be fun. All right, take a look here. College football titles by conference in the playoff era. There you go. 6 for the SEC, 2 for the ACC, both Clemson, 1 for the Big Ten, which was Ohio State. And yet, with the way things shook out last night, and boy, I remember back in the preseason when everybody was talking about Alabama doesn't have a quarterback, Alabama doesn't have an offensive coordinator, Alabama doesn't have a defensive coordinator. Yeah, but Alabama has Nick Saban. And I will, even after he's dead, I won't put dirt on his grave. I'll just be sitting there waiting for the coffin to fly open, and hey, he's back. But with what played out last night, it's the first year you really do need multiple slots. You need to do an expanded field.
Yeah.
But Michigan's in, Washington's in, they're both undefeated. Florida State's undefeated, but they're doing it with a second and third string quarterback. This is twice now in the last 25 years they've had a national championship caliber team and been down to their backup quarterbacks, as Tennessee fans will remember. But Florida State did not look good. They're not one of the best 4 teams, but they have one of the 4 best resumes if you're just looking at, no, they won their league, they're undefeated. Alabama 1 loss. Texas, who beat Alabama, 1 loss. Georgia just lost at the wrong time, 1 loss. Ohio State 1 loss, though they should be banished. Will the SEC get snubbed, Vince?
I think so. I would lean towards them going with the undefeated conference champion that doesn't have a much worse resume than others. That's where the 0 loss versus 1 loss debate can be more into play, is if there's a drastic difference between those schedules. There's not. I mean, it's subjective. So I think right now I would lean towards them taking FSU.
Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Florida State?
Yes, because I don't think they would put out.
Okay, so we need to be kind of quick here. Kevin, Michigan, Washington, Texas, Florida State, or you think Florida State gets out and Alabama's in? Or is there
there's going to be 2 fan bases that are mad about this. I think the committee's going to look at the team that's going to play the best. It's all about the games. So I see Alabama getting in and Florida State being out of the mix. Obviously, it's unprecedented, but, I mean, they don't have their starting quarterback, and they're not going to be as competitive in those games.
That's what I think is going to happen. I think Florida State is out, and they're going to squawk, but it's the same thing the NCAA tournament selection. Seeding reflects who's on the roster and who's hurt. I think it's Washington, Michigan, obviously, and then Texas, Alabama over Florida State, but we'll see. Josh?
I lean the same way. If Jordan Travis were playing for Florida State, I think they would be in and should be in. I think they'll be out because I think they'll also look at it and say, can we really have a 4-team playoff? And it doesn't include Georgia or Alabama, who everybody that has any kind of talent evaluation skill could look at and say, yeah, I think they're probably both 2 of the 4.
I tell you what, guys, I think the committee changes, but I think they're going to go with an undefeated conference champion. And I think that takes the heat off them in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Go win your conference, be undefeated, and you get in. Alabama's got to move up from 8th to 4th. That's a huge jump the way the committee does the rankings.
You think Texas is the other one in, though?
Yes.
The interesting thing for the SEC, for all the years of, we're the toughest conference, we rule the recruiting world, we send more people to the pros every year. If suddenly they're looking at it and all the rest of the world looks at it and says, nah, Pac-12 championship's just as good as an SEC championship. ACC title's as good as an SEC title. That is not going to go over well in the conference offices. And we know who tries to rule the roost in college football.
Greg
It's the
Sankey.
guy that sits in the SEC conference office.
Exactly.
That could be a very ugly aftermath.
For the first time in forever, the highest rated games weren't on SEC games. There was only one SEC team in some of the highest rated games that they put out there. That was LSU Florida State. So it's not like all the SEC ruling those ratings. You're getting it from the Michigans and some of those other schools too.
You're talking about the
TV ratings.
TV ratings.
Yeah.
I think some of the quarterbacks with some of the other, the Michael Penix Jr.'s, the Caleb Williams, and have kind of swayed some of those air ratings where they want to tune in to see Bo Nix play against Washington, in a Heisman Trophy-ish tilt.
Very good. Kevin, I know you're out here. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
man.
All right, and we'll see you back here soon, I'm sure. When we come, Jimmy will be back. When we come back, though, we're going to talk about Tennessee's expectations in a 16-team league. And I had somebody send me an email, so we'll do viewer email next. Coming back on the Sports Source.
Christmas in Chicago.